Yet another series win for Team India, yet again, as they continue their world conquering spree. They have sealed this ODI Series 2 for 0, beating Zimbabwe once again comprehensively by 5 wickets. This is the post match show of the second ODI between India and Zimbabwe. I'm your host, Damini Basu, and I take this opportunity to welcome my distinguished guest, the very popular Joydeep Mukherjee. Thank you so much,
Thank
Joydeep,
you.
for joining. Joyda, straight away, let's have you talking with us about your thoughts about Team India winning another series yet again.
Yeah, this was kind of expected, but there's a lot to learn. I was pretty disappointed with India's performance today, especially with the bat. I thought that there are a lot of things that India could have done better. Obviously, we've spoken a lot about the difference in the quality of these two sides. So nobody was expecting India to lose this series. I wasn't for sure. I didn't expect it to be this easy, but we had no idea where Zimbabwe cricket is because we haven't seen Zimbabwe play in a while. And obviously, they are not in a great place, but they'll get better. That's the good thing about being low. Only way you can go is get high, and that's what's going to happen to them. But it was good to see this was more of a contest. I think the bowling from India was superb. The fielding was also very good. I think the batting could have been a lot better. There are a lot of players who've left big runs in the middle. I think people like Ishan Kishan, Shubman Gill, Shikhar, Huda, all these guys, except KL, everybody got set and got out. I know that Ishan Kishan is batting out of position. He usually likes to open. But, once you play for India, Tendulkar batted at 5, then opened. We know what happened there. Ganguly batted at 3, batted at 4, then opened. We know what he did opening for India. So same with Virat, same with Rohit. So it's when you get your chance, whether you are an opener batting at 4 or whether you're number 5 opening, you got to grab your chances. Because if you don't, somebody else will come and take your chances. It's not free. It's not up for grabs. It's not there for you for life. There are about 20 people who are just as good as you trying to take that place. So this is where I think people like Ishan Kishan missed out. Uh, I think he could have been tighter. There was no pressure of runs. The bowling wasn't great. The pitch was as flat as you can ever get. So having said that, I would expect India to win this game, if not by 10 wickets, by 9 or at worst 8. So I thought that, with 25 overs to go, we won this game. So we lost way too many wickets and our batting was pretty loose.
Yeah, I agree with you on this because, yes, definitely, it was a very comprehensive victory for Team India yet again. But this time, to reach the target, they spent a few wickets, perhaps a few more wickets than required. And for Zimbabwe, well, if keeping aside the loss, they had perhaps some, respite from the previous ODI going wicketless to now they could say that, yes, we managed 5 crucial wickets against such a strong team. The bowling side looked much more confident, would you say? They had perhaps done their homework much better. They had studied the first ODI and come back, with much more confidence, maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I think the way India batted also contributed to that. They bowled decent lines that they did in the first one as well. But I think Shikhar and Shubman were superb in the first one. They just couldn't get their initial breakthrough. There was that missed catch at square leg of that sweep. Often one wicket gets two, so that didn't happen for them. But in spite of their batting not being what it should be against a bowling attack of this quality of India, I was expecting them to get about 220, 230 at least. That probably wouldn't have been a winning total even then, but at least that would have been more of a fight. And today, hats off to Sanju Samson because he curbed his natural instinct. He took his time. If he had got out, you never know. If he got out when he initially came in playing some big shot, uh, you know, 5 down, 70, 80 to get, stranger things have happened on a cricket field. So he really took responsibility and made sure that he was there till the end. And I love the composure that he had. We know him for the slam bang, Sanju Samson, but today it was different because there was a job to be done, and he got it done.
Yes, indeed. He was very, very good, extremely responsible. He has been very good with the gloves, you would say, as a wicket keeper, doing his job behind the stumps extremely responsibly. And with the bat, I personally believe, with regard to Sanju Samson, he is not a very flamboyant player, but he's somebody who will do the job for you, with keeping his mouth shut. You can rely on him always. This is what I personally believe.
No, consistency has been a bit of an issue, and he is a flamboyant player. If you see
Yeah.
the IPL, he's played some flamboyant knocks, but they have been far and few. The only thing, and I've spent a lot of time with Sanju Samson in KKR in his formative years, I share a very close bond with him. And I feel somebody with the sort of talent that he has should be a certainty in the Indian team. That's how good he is. And his keeping is getting better. It was not his strength, but he works very hard on his keeping. So now there is Revsportz, stroke Sanju Samson, stroke Ishan Kishan, stroke Kona Bharat. There are about 4 or 5 guys, and KL Rahul is always there. So there are about 4 or 5 guys who can keep wickets for India in white ball cricket. Having said that, Sanju, his consistency is the only thing that has been sort of lacking because those few IPL innings he plays, those stand out. Those are better than most of the innings. If you see the best 5 innings, there'll be 3 of Sanju Samson's. But it doesn't have a consistency of a Shikhar Dhawan, of a David Warner. If he can put that together, not only will Rajasthan be doing well, he will become a certainty in the Indian team as well. So he and Rahul Dravid share a very close bond. Rahul was director of cricket at Rajasthan Royals when Sanju went, and they've had a lot of time for each other. They get along well. And it's not a surprise that Rahul Dravid being the head coach of the Indian team and Sanju Samson finding his feet. I think it's all coming together in the right way.
Yes, absolutely. And Joyda, in the previous ODI, you had, placed your hopes on KL Rahul. KL Rahul was quite a talk about this ODI series. He came back into the squad in this series. He got to play in this match. Unfortunately, he couldn't, make the most out of it. What do you have to say about his form? Yes, definitely, you would say he's come back after a long time. He wasn't well. He had to nurse injuries. But, with the Asia Cup just days away, what do you have to say about KL Rahul at his place in India's playing 11?
In cricket, we always say if somebody's got it for 1 or 2 or 3, there's not much you can do. You obviously got out before getting set. So he really didn't get a start today, and he'll make you pay when he gets a start. That's the reason why I didn't mention his name earlier with the other names I mentioned, the Shikhar, Shubman, Ishan Kishan, Deepak Huda. They all got starts. They played a certain number of balls and then gave it away. The day KL Rahul plays 30, 35 balls, he'll make sure that he's there till the end. He's done that time and again. That's the reason why he's a permanent member of the Indian team in all 3 versions. So you have to be a really special player to be a permanent member in all 3 versions of the game, and he is obviously that player. One failure just before getting out, just before getting set, it really doesn't matter because he will find his feet.
We do hope he does find his feet as soon as possible because he's one of the very reliable players and a very massive constant for us who has always delivered when required for Team India. Joyda, coming to Zimbabwe. As I stated right now, that with their bowling performance, perhaps they looked a bit better, much more confident from the first ODI, and as you stated that even India's a little shaky batting also contributed with them managing to bag at least 5 wickets. But their batting, like at least in the first ODI, they had managed to reach a target of 190, but today they just got bundled out for a paltry 161. So,
Yeah,
like,
just
what do you have to
before
say about
before
this?
I don't think India's batting was. I think India's batting was more loose today. They weren't tight enough. I don't think it was any other adjective I could use because I think they were not tight enough. They were not strong enough. If this was a team like Australia or a South Africa or a New Zealand, they'll make you pay if you give it away so many times after getting set. As far as their batting is concerned, our bowling is way too good. Anybody who saw the game would see how much they were struggling. So in one-day cricket, you're meant to dominate the ball. They were struggling to just defend. They were struggling. It's a game of skill, Damini. So the skill of the Indian bowlers vis-a-vis the Zimbabwe batters were not at the same level. And when you ask somebody to score 5 runs and over, when a person is struggling to just not get out, in Test match cricket, you can play a 2-hour session for 50 runs. and nothing wrong. But in this version, you also have to not get out firstly, and then you have to score a certain number of runs to be able to make a game of it. So one-day cricket, if there is difference between batting and bowling in the level of batting and bowling, then one-day cricket, T20 cricket can come to bite you back. In Test cricket, sometimes by leaving, by defending, you can get away. You can play time, but you can't play time here because this is a time game. That's not a time game. So that's the reason why today it was evident that the skill set of the bowlers were too good for them, and they will get around, but we'll have to give them time.
Yeah, and definitely our bowlers were super once again. And as you placed your faith on India's pace attack was outstanding today. And the man of the match from the previous game, Deepak Chahar's replacement, Shardul Thakur, was the pick of the bowlers. He finished with figures of 7 overs, 38 runs and 3 important wickets, an economy of 5.43. How good is that? So this change definitely proved fruitful for Team India, you would say?
Yeah, I think the economy is a bit high when you say in 50 overs, or it's only 161 they got. So that 161 divided by 50 is 3 point something. So five point something is quite expensive. If you see the other economies, they are much better than Shardul's. So Shardul did bowl a few boundary balls. They did take a few chances against him. But he's always there. See, he's again another player who's playing Test cricket for us, playing white ball cricket for us. So this is the mix you want. Today I thought that he bowled some good balls, but he bowled some pies also, which is why it's 38. He's given 38 away. If you see the others, they've all given 20, 21 in their 7, 8, whatever they have, because that is what you do when you bowl a good spell. Sometimes you can actually bowl a spell where you don't bowl that well and pick up 3 wickets. Shardul, there were other bowlers who bowled better than Shardul today, but with Shardul who got the wickets. Prasidh Krishna was brilliant today. So was Siraj, but they don't. So getting wickets and bowling well is not always in tandem. Not always. I've played many matches where some bowlers bowl superbly and the other guy's picked up 4 and he's picked up maybe 1 or 2. And I played matches where somebody's bowled really well and picked up 5, 6 also. So it's not always that if you get wickets you bowl well. Today Shardul was the pick of the bowlers as far as the wickets were concerned, but if you saw the match, if you saw the bowling, I think Siraj and Prasidh Krishna were superb.
Yes, the entire unit, the bowling unit of India was absolutely superb. And, Joyada, from the pre-match show, I had this question and I felt perhaps if we could use the post-match show to have a
Sure.
discussion on this. And if you could help me understand it better, going back to that famous Rohit Sharma statement that ODI ne mujhe banaya hai, I'm still, hovering about this thing that is ODI cricket still dying or is ODI still in it? Is ODI still the talk? With Test cricket and T20, especially T20I cricket, you becoming such a
I think
popular thing. Could you please, yeah, please, yeah,
I
Jayada?
think we spoke about this. It's how the ICC. I think we spoke about this in the pre-show. It's how ICC handles it. If they put a bar on the number of T20s a team can play, then you can't play more than that. Right now, everything is T20 because Asia Cup is T20. Back in the day, it was a 50-over tournament, but right now it's T20 because there's a T20 World Cup coming. So everybody wants to get. But once the World Cup is over, if ICC says that no team can play more than 12 T20s a year, not more than 21 days a year, and not more, and have to play 21 days a year, and have to play 14 test matches a year. So then there's a bar on it, and then that sort of neutralizes everybody. But if there's no bar, then yeah, there's a possibility that the one-day cricket could lose its glory, and that'd be a shame.
Okay. And yeah, the thing which I need your help to make me understand is how is a player, made to go for a particular format? As in, like, how is a player associated with any particular format? Like, how do you know that, just take Rohit Sharma as some new player, for example. How would you know that, okay, he is suited for Test cricket? No, he's suited for ODI. No, he's suited for T20. Or no, he's suited for all the three formats. Is there any difference in stroke play or, attitude or behavior? How are these decisions made?
The skill set, different formats need different skill sets. whether he possesses
Gotcha.
the skill set. Also, because he's come and playing for the country, he's played Vijay Hazare for Bombay, Rohit Sharma. He's played Mustaq Ali for Bombay, and he's played Ranji Trophy for Bombay. So that record will also give you an indication of where his strengths and weaknesses lie. Like somebody like a Shreya Shah, averages 60 with the bat in Ranji Trophy, phenomenal in one-day cricket, phenomenal in T20 for Bombay. So he's telling the Indian selectors that I can play every version for India. But there are some, I don't want to take names, and some who played in this team whose first-class record is not that good. So they are telling about their white ball cricket, their one-day and T20 record is superb. So that's why that's an indication. It's not a be-all and end-all. It's not carved in stone, but it's an indication that his strength lies with white ball cricket. And then when he comes in the Indian team, skill set that you have, it's like saying if you're not really sharp in the head, you wouldn't want to go in for science in +2, right? It's a bit like that. It's what's your skill set like. So whatever skills you have, some people have all the skills, and it's not that he can't be worked upon. Rohit, when he first came, nobody thought he'd be successful in Test cricket, but he's phenomenal in Test cricket. Rishabh Pant looked to white ball cricket, and look at what he's done in Test cricket. So these are special players. Once they come to one level and dominate that, they said they have the capability to have the skill set to do the other things as well. Not everybody does. Not everybody does. Chiteshwar Pujara, look at his one-day cricket in England right now. Look what he's doing. Look at his one-day record for Saurashtra. Phenomenal.
Mm.
So these are special players we're talking about. Somebody's played 80 test matches, he's going to be a phenomenal player. Anybody who's played 80 test matches for India is a phenomenal cricketer. You can go back to the annals of Indian cricket and still find you don't play 80 test matches for India unless you're very, very good, very, very special. And likewise, it's basically up to the skill set to answer your question. Uh, and the domestic cricket gives you an idea of where it's coming from, but it's not carved in stone. You can always change it around.
Okay. Okay, and now coming back to this match, and with regard to Team India, Joyda, you and in the pre-match, also stated that India's bowling attack is so good that Team India might as well, from the third ODI, like if they win the toss, perhaps they can give themselves the chance of batting first, because they have always, I personally feel given more importance and have had more faith on their bowling compared to their batting. So, would you say, or if you could help me with my thought process, this practice by Team India to, on most occasions, opt to bowl first against oppositions, make them vulnerable, that oppositions might start reading them quite easily?
I don't. Sorry, I didn't understand the question. So if we bowl regularly, they'll start
Yeah.
reading us. Is that what you're
No, no,
asking?
no, no. I guess my the framing was a is a bit confusing. What I want to ask is, should India at times take the chance to opt to bat first, to not make
Okay.
themselves very easy to be read by oppositions, not have
No,
that
I don't.
not put too much pressure on their bowling unit?
No, I don't think we're putting any pressure on our bowling unit. We are giving them the best. We're giving them the best chances. Green wicket, a little bit of moisture there. We're giving our bowlers the best chances of getting wickets. But to answer your question, I see where you're coming from. You see, I don't think you can do that with teams who are at par with you. Then you have to take every condition that you can play to your advantage. Now, if
Okay.
you're playing a team which is not in the same level as you, then you can obviously sometimes, especially if the series is all wrapped up, then you can always try win the toss and bat first and see, just for a change. But if India and Australia are playing India, playing England, England playing South Africa, India playing New Zealand, and India playing Pakistan, then it's not a question of playing any mini minor more. It's just a question of where do the conditions go. Do we bat or do we bowl? Is it flat? Do we like chasing? Do we like what do the opponents like? Do they like chasing? Then we'll try and bat first. We'll bat second because we won't let them chase. What are their strengths? Is fast bowling their strength? What's how much moisture in the pitch? How much grass? Is spin their strength? Then is there going to be too much? Is the wicket going to slow down at the back end? So there are lots of questions, permutations, combinations that come into play when you decide whether you want to bat or bowl. There's no template for it, but to answer your question, in the third one day, it doesn't matter. They've got the series wrapped up. The batters haven't had a real good go. They've in one, only two people batted. In this one, it wasn't a great show by the Indian batters. So they might, VVS Lakshman might just say, guys, let's go and bat 50 overs and see how that feels.
Understood. And an update that Sanju Samson is the player of the match for this game for his brilliant innings of 39 ball, 43 not out. He played such a responsible innings, as stated by you. He is an absolute classy player. So it's very tough for me as a host to even conduct such shows which are where matches are so one-sided, because you don't have much things to discuss about, and especially if it's so recurring. So you know with almost everything discussed now, Joyada, from the third ODI, just a small discussion before we end it. What are you expecting? Do you see Team India making a lot of changes in their playing 11, perhaps to give the bench some try, probably giving the youngsters to, come and express themselves? Probably we could see Rahul Tripathi coming out. Or do you see, Team India carrying on with the same playing 11? Because I won't ask whether Team India will be winning, whitewashing it or not. I won't ask this question.
Yeah, I think it really depends on what the team plans are. It's impossible for you and me, thousands of miles away, to be able to decide that. There is a possibility that Shahbaz Ahmed, Rahul Tripathi guys sitting out would get a chance. There is a possibility that they'll stay with the same one, because they'll say, we have decided to give these boys a certain number of games. Shahbaz is just coming to the team. So has Rahul Tripathi, what, couple of months back. So they will have to wait for their chance. So it's impossible for you and me to even comprehend what the mindset, what the thought process is over there. But either of them are equally possible. It totally depends on what mindset they have. I have a feeling that they'll give the others a chance. I don't see seven changes, but I see two or three.
Okay, so we've had a discussion on this series. Let's talk about the upcoming Asia Cup, the much awaited Asia Cup, and of course the much awaited pot boiler, that is the India versus Pakistan match that will be taking place on the 28th of August. News update comes that previously we knew that from India, unfortunately, Jasprit Bumrah has been ruled out because he's nursing an injury. And today, the news update comes that Shaheen Shah Afridi, Pakistan's pacer, has been ruled out of the Asia Cup because even he has to nurse an injury. So, how do you see this from India? Jasprit Bumrah and his equivalent in Pakistan, Shaheen Shah Afridi, both extremely important players for their respective countries, not being able to play such an important game. So without them, how do you see both these teams, both India
Yeah, I
and
think
Pakistan, coming up in their clash on the 28th?
yeah, I think the batters from both the teams will be heaving a sigh of relief. Just not, both will be saying, "Wow."
Yeah.
Excuse me. But yeah, it's not a bit of it's lost a bit of sheen this game, because ideally I would like both these teams to be at full pelt, and then let the better team win. So see, injuries is something that you cannot comprehend. You have no idea where it comes from, how long it's going to take. But having said that, it's very important for these two bowlers from these two teams to be available for the big one, the big gig, which is the T20 World Cup. And that's probably the reason why the respective teams are not taking chances, because they know there is not much time left between the Asia Cup and the T20 World Cup. And rightly so, they are being careful, and that's the right way to go.
Absolutely. The Asia Cup, I personally believe that both the countries were definitely looking forward to this very important game, looking forward to both these talented bowlers locking horns. Unfortunately, we won't get that treat, but we do hope that we get to see them in the upcoming T20 World Cup, because both of them are absolutely world class bowlers. And with this, we come to the end of this post match show of the second ODI between India and Zimbabwe. A thumping, comprehensive win by Team India, not only in this match but also to take an unassailable 2-0 lead above Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe still having many things to improve. They looked a much better bowling side, though they have lots of things to ponder about and perhaps take a deep look into their batting. As with regard to Team India, they perhaps might as well give their bench a chance since they have wrapped up the series. And you were, to all my viewers, you were hearing the very popular Joydeep Mukherjee with his unbelievable and brilliant insights. Thank you so much, Joyda, for joining. We meet
Thank
again
you.
on the 22nd in the third ODI between India and Zimbabwe. Do take care of your health. Enjoy other good games going around the world. And let's meet on the 22nd. Thank you.
Thank you and take care.